Welcome to this beautiful day. This is the Progressive Mind Show. My name is Sena, aka Alinko. This is where we build our community by engaging folks that you're going to be seeing on the set, and you to discuss issues that are pertinent to us, issues that relate to you and I, so that we can build a better community. This evening, we are talking about the Asian American community, and we are going to be focusing on the recent attacks that has been meted out to that community, and some of the issues, and also take the opportunity to know and understand, basically know the Asian community a bit better than we all have. Some of you, I'm sure, go to Chinatown. Some of you have traveled to Asia, so you're very well versed with the community and their culture. But there's so many of us who would like to know and also look into what has been going on recently. So stay tuned to this show. We are live right now on Facebook, of course. Also on our page, YouTube. Please go on there, the Progressive Mind Show on YouTube. Share the page from there. You can also share it on Facebook so we can all engage this evening. Today is April 7th, 2021. Beautiful day today. Yesterday as well. We'll have the weatherman, the health man, the sportsman, the 3-in-1 man, Captain Mike, to tell us how is going to look for the rest of the week. Captain Mike, take it from here, and we shall be right back after you. This is the Progressive Mind Show. My brother, like I said, it has been a good weather. So let us know what's going to happen this week.
Well, enjoy it for the rest of tonight, because the rest of the week is not going to be too great. But as far as April is concerned, it's not too bad. Okay. Average temperatures this time of year are going to be around 50, low around 40. So the rest of the week, we are looking at tonight a low of 62. Tomorrow, Friday, and then the Saturday, looking at the lower 60s, maybe upper 50s, and looking at some rain. Maybe some scattered rain on Saturday and Sunday. So not that great. Into next week, we're going to have highs in the 50s, cloudy skies, and maybe a chance of rain. We're looking at Monday, Tuesdays. So keep the umbrella handy. Typical April, not too bad for this time of year. So I'm not going to complain too much. So no pouring rains or anything, just kind of scattered. So just keep the umbrella handy, and it's going to be off and on here and there. Going into sports, we're looking at the Ghanaian Premier League, where we have Asante Kotoko 4, the Beckham United 0. Right now, the White Sox and the Mariners in the bottom of the 6th, tied 4-4. And going into our numbers for our TSA, as Alinko likes to ask, about 57% of the travelers we had in 2019 before the pandemic hit. So starting to get okay. Going into our health and fitness report, since today and yesterday we had highs around 80 and sunlight, we know that spring is here, summer's right around the corner. So we have to talk about skincare. Looking at skincancer.org, get some tips on how to protect yourself from sunburn and skin cancer. So one tip, cover it up. Wear protective clothing. And clothing has a UPF rating, which I didn't know, just found out. And that tells you how much of the sun you're going to be protected by the clothing. So if you have a UPF of 50, a shirt, which is try to get in a light cloth, cotton texture. If it has a UPF of 50, that means 1/50th of the sun's UV rays will be allowed to reach the skin. Also, cover it up. Wear a brimmed hat to protect your face and your eyes. Use sunscreen, SPF of 15 or higher. An SPF of 15 means you will burn 15 times slower than if you didn't use any skincare protective at all. And if you're going to be out in the sun for any length of period of time, they recommend an SPF of 30 or higher if you're going to be extended time out in the sun between the hours of 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. And that's when the sun is at its maximum intensity. Also, play in the shade, but watch out for reflections. If you're under an umbrella on the beach, remember that the water can also reflect sun rays, so be careful. And reapply your sunscreen if you do go under the water, if you're on the beach. Also, they recommend seeing a dermatologist at least once a year to get yourself checked. So stay safe out there in the sun, have fun, and let's give winter the goodbye for now.
Yeah, we're giving winter the boot. We put him out. We're done with it. We're done.
We're done with winter. Be safe out there. And with that, we're going back to you, Alinko.
Thank you so much, my brother. You are always on point with the segment in terms of weather, sports, and health. We really appreciate you. Enjoy it. Definitely, it's not going to be a bad weekend or a bad rest of the week in terms of weather. So we are excited and looking forward to a very warm and beautiful rest of the week and the weekend. My brother, we shall be seeing you next week, God willing. Okay.
Take care.
You too. All right, that was Captain Mike. We would go for a short break. When we come back, the show continues. This is the Progressive Mind Show. Please, again, share the feed on Facebook and on YouTube. Invite a friend to be part of this very important discussion. We shall be right back. Well. Okay, so we have Jean Lee in the house. We have Christina Nonato. We have YESOE Noon. Great people here this evening to engage us. YESOE Noon is from South Korea and came to the United States at the age of 17 years. She's currently the anchor and host of the Global Leaders Network TV program. She ran for the Illinois House of Representatives District 17 last November as a Republican candidate. YESOE was the first bilingual reporter for the Asian American News, AAN, when it was the North Korean American Broadcasting Company, which was launched in 2005. She of course studied in South Korea, where she learned English, Japanese, and Chinese. She has a lot of accolades. Also came to the States, went to study, had a major in communication at Northern Illinois University. Again, this is a great lady with many accolades. Because of time, we would not go into all of it. We would just try to look at Christina's background. But before that, YESOE, you are very, very welcome to the Progressive Mind Show. This is the first time we're having you, and we really appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
My pleasure. And then next to her is this beautiful lady, Christina Nonato. Am I pronouncing the name correctly?
Yes, you did.
Excellent. Okay. So she is a highly motivated, responsible professional with more than 5 years experience in administrative secretarial work. She has been the clerk of the Circuit Court of Cook County, Chicago, Illinois, since May 16 to present. She has an experience working with the criminal department as a manager. Basically, she is a supervisor at the Circuit Court of Cook County in the Division of Criminal Department, Domestic Violence and Public Information. The Public Information Department. All right, I beg your pardon. She also studied here. She studied in the University of Philippines, Manila, and had her BS in education in 1983. She also has many accolades, but due to time, we would like to summarize it and get to the meat of it. I think Jean just dropped due to a technical hitch. We'll see if we can get Jean Lee back on the show. Christina Nonato and YESOE, Christina, you're welcome to the Progressive Mind Show. This is your first time. We're really happy to have you on. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So, ladies, let's start. Let's begin with the show. Now, you have been in America for so many years. We recently have had, I think we've all heard the recent attacks on the Asian American community. But we talked about it for a short while, and our society has had a lot of issues going on. So, it looks like some of these topics get buried. But let's take a time to look at it. But first of all, how has been your growing up in the United States been like? Let's start with Christina NONATO. You came here at what age and what year? And tell us how your experience has been based off your journey in this country so far.
Well, actually, I'm okay. I'm doing pretty good in the United States. I work in first in the First National Bank. Then I go to the government work in clerk of the Circuit Court of Cook County as all managers. And then the one that I experienced an attack when I worked in Gurney, the Woodland School, and I work as a special ed teacher. So the teachers throw a face like really crazy, because because I'm an Asian. And I don't want to tell what nationality are there. They draw my face, they put a horn on my head, but the only thing I'm doing is just ignore, do my job, and that's it. I put in the hands of God. That's my feeling that I was really attacked.
Okay.
Since when I was here.
What year was this?
I think that was in 1980s.
Okay. And so you were saying basically when you were in this country, you went through these type of attacks that we are seeing on TV. You were basically bullied and attacked by other races. Is that correct?
Other races, that's true.
Wow. Now, thank you so much for. We'll come to more. We'll probably try and see if we can get more details. YESOE, would you say you had a similar, experience in, in your upbringing in this country?
Yeah, I came to United States around about 17 years ago. And in the beginning, I had a culture shock, of course, when I arrived, and because everything was different. And it was hard for me to join mainstream society at that moment. But I got closer to Korean community later on. And then what happened was in the beginning that I had to get driver license. Okay. And then I was my first driver license test. I went to DMV, of course. And then there's a guy, right next to me, actually judge. And I was doing the, the test for, the practice, what I did. And he said, I was so nervous. And he told me in the beginning that, do you speak English? And I said, yes. I just say short answer because I was so nervous at that time. I came to the United States like 4 months ago and try to get the driver license right now. And he failed me. I don't know why. I was so nervous, and he failed me that time. And second time I went there, same guy again, and he said, "Do you speak English again?" And I said, I speak English perfectly fine. And he said, he failed me again. And third time I went there, same guy. What I say to him at the time was, don't ask me again. Whether I speak English or not. I speak English, I can read English, and I communicate with you.
Exactly.
So after that, he passed me. So it was very hard for me to adjust myself to American culture in the beginning, but somehow later on, I decided to come closer to also Asian American community, and that's what I did. And as a individual, Asian hold a lot of values, and we learn a lot. And we are hardworking individual, and we have many talents.
Right.
But at the same time, we are minority, and one individual voice is not enough. And like what I did in the beginning, it could be fixed if I actually share with this to many individuals, like in Asian American community, but I didn't. But when we work together as a group, Asian American, then I think that it's powerful and we could make differences, and I believe that is very impactful. That's why I decided to join this Asian American family, and this to me is a family. And I'm really grateful that I met also Jin Lee here from Chinatown, and also Christina Nonato. And I think that I actually met them through my singing, and they were in political events. Thank you.
Wow. So you sing as well?
Yeah, I'm a classical singer.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. Before we end this show, you may have to do something for us, Yesu.
Of course.
Okay. Nice. No, thank you for sharing that powerful story. You see, if you hadn't shared this, I would never have known. And I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who would, because when we don't see these things. And so thank you so much for sharing. Jin Lee, you were a leader in the Asian American community. Chinatown is a place to go. Food, culture, man, great people. Now, Jin, a little background about who Jin Lee is, and let's also look at your growing up in this country.
Well, thanks for having us, Alinco. It's a great opportunity.
Thank you.
An honor to be on the show with the two young ladies. I was born and raised in Chicago. Both my parents are from China. My father was in the U.S. Navy. He married my mother. It was an arranged marriage in China. She came as a housewife, and I've lived in Chinatown since 1948. And at the time, of course, Chinatown was much smaller. You practically knew everyone, and Chinatown certainly has grown. And growing up in Chinatown, I don't recall any distinct incidents of racism. I was just happy-go-lucky going to elementary school, which at the time was a majority African-American, some Spanish, of course, Chinese. Went to high school, Lindblom. There, the environment changed. It was more Caucasians. I was in the minority with the African Americans. Went to college, drafted by the U.S. Army, served in Thailand as a military policeman. And as many of my friends would say, Gene, you don't speak like a Chinese guy. You may look Chinese, but when you speak, you're more American than most of us, the Chinese we come across. So I think being tall and being a little bit loud maybe kept a lot of that away from me. But I just recall when I was in the service, my bunkmate, Millard Garrison, also from Chicago, big man, thick. I didn't go anywhere without him. I mean, we were like brothers. I mean, we were from Chicago. But life was good. But I've seen some of the stuff that YESOE mentioned, and when people think you don't speak English, that they've got a leg up on you, or they can speak down to you.
Yes.
But it was always a little different with me because I was as tall as anybody else and could articulate.
Thank you.
Cuss them out.
No, thank you for giving us a good background. You're also you play a good leadership role in the Chinese Asian American community, right? I mean, if you can specifically tell us the role.
Okay, let me touch on that. Growing up, my father was very active in the community, in the Lee Family Association. So you learn from your parents, your relatives, and your environment. I was fortunate when I got out of the service. I with Alderman Fred Rohde. He was looking for some help in the Chinese community to encourage Chinese Americans to come out to vote. So when I hooked up with the alderman, I was able to get a job in the city. He allowed me to sit with him in the same office with him, and you can actually learn a lot when you're watching and hearing how elected officials do business, how they react to certain situations. And it was a rare opportunity to learn,
right,
just by being around someone. Just if you just listen to a phone call, how he handles a situation. I mean, he can be tough with some, or put it out there with others, or just be very civil. But I learned a lot growing up, working in the city, and my involvement with the city allowed me to be that connection or liaison between my community and the city, not just the first ward at the time, but being able to help resolve problems. And as I developed within the city and ended up in the mayor's office, which gave me an opportunity to meet the young ladies that are in the show with me. It gave me an opportunity to not only help my community, but my Asian American community at large. When you're a civil servant, when you work for the city, you really end up connecting with a very diverse population.
Excellent, thank you. We would also like to know further, what the organization, the Asian American, does for the community. I know you've been involved in a lot of community events, and so we would like you to maybe expand on some of those for us. Thank you so much for helping us understand your background and the role you have played in our society. Thank you so much for your service as well. Christina, you are currently running for office, and we would like also to know that, since Jean has told us his background in public service, it's fair that you tell us that too, and then YESOE also tell us her role, actually her candidacy last year. So go ahead, Christina. I know you're running, so please tell us about it.
Okay, I'm running for Metropolitan Water Reclamation District on March 2022. And my goal to all, especially this pandemic, I want to make sure the water we use is clean for safetyness and wellness for our health. And of course, we have a lot of challenges that we are facing in Metropolitan Water Reclamation. I try to address the challenges we face with climate change and flooding. I want to focus on reducing flooding, especially in low-income communities. We have to make sure reducing sewer overflows. And please, don't forget Christina NONATO, next year, March 2022.
Excellent. Next year, March. Okay, great. Thanks for plugging that in. Now, I'm seeing someone in the background. Marvin Hunter. Is it Miss Marvin Hunter related to anybody on the show? Okay. All right, then that's fine. Marvin Hunter, if you're listening, you would have to watch us on Facebook or YouTube. All right. Or you can send me a message. I'm not sure who Marvin Hunter is. Let's see here. Okay, let's see. Marvin Hunter.
I was just trying to. This was the vehicle that they gave me to listen, so I didn't know it was Facebook. I just used what I had.
Okay,
I'm just a listener. I am working with Christina.
Okay.
In the African American community, I'm the great uncle of Laquan McDonald. God bless you and hi.
God bless you too. Okay, so you can follow us on Facebook. It's the Progressive Mind Show, or on YouTube. Okay.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so that explains it. All right, now let's talk about the recent attacks on the Asian American community. Had these incidents not happened for mainstream media like CNN and all of that to pick it up, I think a majority of us wouldn't have known. Your take on the recent attacks that has been going on recently. Of course, this actually shed light on what has been going on over the decades. And so I would like to get your take on what has been going on so far regarding these recent attacks. And let me start with YESOE. YESOE, I know you haven't spoken about your political aspirations or your political background, but take a moment to inform us about that and then respond to the question I just asked.
Right. The recent incident in Atlanta and others were related to anti-Asian Pacific American violence. It's very clear. And I condemn that. This must end. Not only affected the victims, but also our whole Asian American community. And I must speak up against the violence, and we have to stand together. And we are suffering enough through pandemic, financially, physically, and spiritually, and this is unacceptable. And there's no room for violence towards innocent lives. And I truly believe that we as Asian Americans will stand together firmly as patriotic Americans and bring awarenesses and condemn this type of violence will help to reduce more crimes like this in the future. Thank you.
You're welcome. I mentioned I wanted you to tell us about your running for the Republican office last year. Tell us about that. How did that go? And do you have any more aspirations of running for office in the future?
Right now, I do not have any intention to run for office, but I really grateful. I was very grateful to the fact that I ran for office. It's not about me, it's about others, and they have to know the truth, and I have to spread awareness. I ran for Republican candidates for Illinois State House of Representatives, 17th District. The district includes 17th District includes Glenview, Northbrook, Skokie, Northfield, and also Evanston, and so on. The reason that I ran was to bring awareness to other people that how things are different than before. I came to this country to fulfill American dreams. And Asian American, we are hardworking, as I said in the beginning, and we have a talent, and we would like to bring food to our family table, and also we want to make sure we bring good education to our children. That's focus. But right now, what I see so far in this country is all about political agenda, all about political gain. And they use this race issue to trip this over to benefit the party or the person, the candidates. So this was not right to me. And I am pro-life. I stand for women's rights, but at the same time, I think that innocent lives mattered. And the late term abortion up to 9 months was crazy to me. I mean, I have to be very honest with you. I do not believe that. It's innocent lives. So I came to this table that I have to run for office.
Okay.
Spread awareness. And then as a pro-life candidate, and also who as Asian American, we would like to work things together and bring the prosperity and fulfill American dreams.
Excellent. I wanted to have a follow-up. Actually, I have a follow-up question for you. Do you think that your race or background affected your candidacy when you were running for office last year?
I have to be very honest with you that my district actually includes a lot of Asians.
Okay.
Asian communities, especially Koreans. A lot of Koreans live there. But the thing is that people are not really seeing things right. That's what I feel.
Okay.
Because they have to look at both sides clearly. But what they're seeing is what politicians and also media feeding them is only one side. And that was my complaint. And that was the biggest issue that I had in the beginning when I ran for office. But I'm grateful that this experience will not only people to see that, oh, this young girl ran for office and she brought this awareness, but not only that, I think that in the future, more person like me will run for office again. And also, not only that, someday we will see the justice and also people will see the truth. That's what I'm hoping for.
Jean, you have been here for a very long time. Do you think our society is very polarized?
I'd have to say yes.
Okay. All right.
I think we've all seen it.
Yeah.
Maybe not always expressed.
Excellent.
That doesn't mean that everyone's polarized, but there are those, and it probably goes back to the Civil War.
We would, during this show, get into the latter part, we'll try and see if we can find solutions. We'll try come up with ideas on how we can make our society a better place. You're still watching the Progressive Mind Show. It is 6:30 p.m. CST here in Chicago. We are blessed to have this beautiful people, great leaders in our community, specifically in the Asian American community, who are sharing with us the experiences, both professional-wise, social, cultural, and also their insight to what we have to do for our society, and also chiming in on the recent attacks on the Asian American community. And so very, very important discussion this evening. We urge you to share the feed if you're on Facebook and on YouTube so we can get the word out there. So far, we have folks who have joined us on Facebook. If I don't mention your name, it's because I'm probably not seeing it. But those who have commented, Rebecca Mode, she basically says, that is not good. I'm sure that is her response to something that she heard. She says, shout out to these great, powerful people from Rebecca. Ashia says, hi, YESOE and Jean. That is Ashia Hasnian giving you guys shout outs. And so keep, if you want to comment later in the show, if you want to comment, feel free and do it. The feed will be reading them out. If you also want to call and give them some kind of support, ask question or comment personally, you can ring the number on your screen now. It's at the right bottom corner of the screen. It is 815-277-5047. So Christina, you basically mentioned that your American experience, when you were introducing yourself, you said everything was fine, but maybe from the beginning, along the way, now you're serving in the Circuit Court of Cook County. You are into public office. You've been around for some time. Have you experienced some specific attacks from your neighbors and from the society at large, just because you are from the Asian community?
Yeah, there's a lot of discrimination, everywhere, especially on Filipino.
Yes.
And,
please hold on to one.
Okay.
That I think we have a caller on the line. Caller, can you please tell us your name and why you're calling? Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Please, you have reached the Progressive Mind Show. Did you want to please tell us your name and why you're calling to the show this evening?
Yes, my name is Erica. I'm calling because I saw Christine NONATO who's running for commissioner of the water district area in Chicago.
Yes, you have a question.
I just want to express, yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I just want to express, I have witnessed her career helping the community. And I'm Hispanic. I identify myself with what they are talking about the state to the Asian community. when I identify because as a Hispanic, as you know, we have been going through the same thing, you know.
Ma'am,
Um,
ma'am, can you position yourself a little bit better, because we're finding it difficult to hear everything you were saying. You're making great point, but we want to. Can you maybe adjust your situation a little bit? And then,
yeah, did you hear me better?
yeah, it looks like, yeah, sounds better.
Let me see. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to share with the public. I have been witnessing her compassion, her hard work, and passion for helping other people.
Okay.
And I definitely feel like very, very happy and proud that she is running for commissioner. As Hispanic, I feel identified with you know what the Asian community is going through right now. Because a lot of Hispanic people too, at some point, we have receiving hate too.
Oh wow, no, thank you. What's your name, please?
Erica.
Erica, thank you so much. Would that be all for this evening?
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you so much, Erica, for your comment and support. She's basically saying that the Hispanic community is basically experiencing what is currently going on with the Asian American community. So thank you so much, Erica, for your contribution. I think Christina would appreciate your support as well.
Yeah, thank you.
So yeah, so these are some of the things that we need to talk about. Yeah, and you ask yourself, I think, as immigrants or as minority groups, I mean, before some of us, before you come here, you hear of America, you hear the good stories, and so you want to come and be part of the good story. And so a lot of times your intention is to, of course, pursue just that. But then when you get in, the reality hits you, and the culture shock hits you, just like it hit YESOE. And how funny is it that you speaking English to somebody and they asking you if you speak English, and as a result of that, they deny you your driver's license, and you actually had to go through this 3 times. You said, was it 2 or 3?
No, it's 3 times.
That is incredulous, and you had the patience to. Now, I think that's one thing about Asians. From my observation, they seem to exercise a lot of tact and patience. We would like to know about what's up with that, Jean. What's up with that? Tell us calmness and politeness that we see. We'd like to know, but I'm sure some people too would have 1 or 2 questions or sentiments when it comes to the Asian American community. But I wanted to ask you guys this specifically. Christina, so if you were to make a decision on behalf that can affect the masses when it comes to, actually, I was going to ask you, I asked you, Perfect, please respond to that question, and let me ask you this, so I can use this as a follow-up question. The question about your experience in this country regarding attacks on you personally based off your background.
Actually, when I came to United States,
you don't have to get close to the camera. You're fine where you are.
Okay.
Yeah. Good.
I experienced a lot. And the first, when you were talking, I was talking to somebody. Of course, the first time you came into America, they were so slang. I said, oh my God, what is this? How could I understand this? But in the Philippines, we always have to learn English.
Okay.
But the way the slang, sometimes like, how is that?
Right.
And you don't even know, how to deliver this slang.
Exactly.
Until you learn by yourself.
Right.
And then I said, like, I've been experiencing a lot of, discrimination.
You were saying you did not, or you did?
I did experience a lot.
Okay. Can you tell us some specific ones, just like YESOE shared with us?
Okay. One time I was like in the store.
Okay.
And this is a group of whatever is that group. And I was buying something. And I think I didn't even pronounce really good. And then they said, like, what? What are you talking about? They said that to me. But, I explained in the right pronunciation of English.
Yes.
But, they laugh at me the way maybe the first time I pronounce it. And I said, like, oh, God bless you. Whatever it is, I just turn back, and then I just learn by myself all how to, how to be pronounced really good.
Right. Okay. So that is one for you.
That
And,
is one.
yeah. And then share another one with us, please. Another experience, another
I had
maybe.
experience like what I said when I was in Gurney
Yeah.
and I was teaching. I was a special ed teacher,
Mm.
and I'm not even a special ed, certified.
Mhm.
They're all certified teacher, but by the time they interview me, they got me because I told them I can perform being a special ed teacher. The way I teach my kids is almost the same thing with this little autism syndrome problem, because I got patient. I'm a very loving, person, especially with this kind of situation.
Right.
And after that, because I'm not certified, so what they did, ever since I said that, they draw my face and they put a horn in the blackboard. I just ignore it because I know I am professional.
They drew your face on the
In
blackboard.
the blackboard
Wow.
with a horn,
Wow.
and I just ignored that, and I said myself, forget that. I still doing my job. All the kids loves me. They love me better than the certified, teacher in special ed.
Right. Gene, you being a leader in the community, when you hear, I don't know if they come to you, I mean, people like Christina and others come to you with these types of sentiments. And if they do, how do you respond? And if they don't, are there things that the Asian American community does as a leader to kind of mitigate some of these things? Because these are emotional torture. I don't know if it's emotional or psychological, but if you go through this, you don't feel good. And you may have internal mechanisms to control and manage it, but it doesn't feel good.
Well, in my case, it all goes back to what my parents tried to teach me growing up. Easier said than done. Don't start any trouble, obey the laws, be a good citizen, be respectful. And I try to take these lessons wherever I go in life, especially as a public servant. And when you hear of things that are wrong, that are discriminatory, I try my best to encourage our people, or the people that are coming to me with complaints, is first of all, yes, I'm glad you didn't start a fight. Try to be respectful. You don't always have to forgive, but certainly learn by your experience. Try not to escalate the situation, because sometimes this person on the other side is looking for an opportunity to create a situation harmful
right
to us as a minority. And understanding that, I would explain, is, you don't escalate the situation. If you're with your family or yourself, try to be, how should we say, accept the situation.
Right.
Do not escalate.
Do not escalate it. Okay. So
try to report, if it's as bad as it is, report it to the police, but walk away not getting hurt.
Okay. Walk away and not getting hurt. It's 6:45 p.m. YESOE, you are an anchor at a TV station and you talk to global leaders. Now, are these global leaders here in America or all over the world?
Actually, they are in Chicago or some of in America, of course, but they are, I believe that they can be global leader, and some of them global leaders too.
Okay.
The person that I interview was, Fred Oquendo, who is a, boxer, a professional boxer.
Okay.
He's a, highly recognized person in boxing industry.
Okay.
And also I actually interview a lot of politicians, Jeannie Ives, and also a restaurant business owner, Tony Spavone, and many industry leaders.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can also Google me, and then there are many leaders that I interview, and you can search that too. But I really enjoyed interviewing them, get to know them, and I believe that the leaders do a lot of things in our lives, and we are making influences.
Okay.
And whether it's indirectly or directly, we are making differences. And then we also have to work on things together, not by dividing us, but come together as unity.
Right.
So that's what I would like to say to you today about how unity is important to us.
Excellent. That's great. And I think that is part of the solution aspect of the show this evening. But I wanted to give you a follow-up question, which is in relation to what you just said. I mean, in line with your job, you talk to all those global leaders, those industry leaders and whatnot. Do you hear, I don't know if you have a personal relationship with them, but do they share publicly some of the sentiments that we are sharing today as an Asian American? Do they tell you that they go through same things, or they've seen folks in their community experience similar situations? Do you get this information from them?
Well, some of them I know personally, so I got to know them before the show, and they talk to me about things that what they experienced, discrimination, or something like that related to that. And I know them that they went through so many things in their life, and then actually that incident, we find them to become stronger and have resilience towards it, and they have a grit, so they became really stronger, and they became right now who they are.
Right.
So that didn't impact them negatively, actually. So
exactly.
Yeah, I think that is how you respond towards the incidents. And you have a choices to go negatively or positively. And also we can also make differences when we choose right thing instead of negative things.
That's powerful. It's good to hear that, because sometimes we've seen a lot of, in this country, we've seen a lot of successful Asian Americans, and you wouldn't know that they also may have experienced some of these hates, attacks, and discriminatory behaviors and whatnot. But basically, what you are sharing with us, that these are reality, and these are things that happen to not just regular folks, but folks up high up there, and have been able to brace through and become very successful. Thanks for sharing with us. I just wanted to recognize some of our followers on Facebook. Bridget Amenyo is watching us. Sean Harris. Sean, how are you doing? Good to see you this evening. Shudi Streeter is also here. Gregory Cash, my brother, what's up? Hit me up, brother. Meredith Hammer is here. Joseph Awinyoga is also watching. Omoro Wari Johnny. Rari Johnny is also watching us. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. 6:58 p.m. CST. It's April 7th, 2021. You are watching live the Progressive Mind Show here on Facebook and on YouTube. So we want to we will be looking at the some of more of the solutions. Jean, as a leader of the Asian American community, specifically Chinatown special events, what is the purpose, if you can share with us? We know the town is in existence. There are beautiful people there, a lot of things going on there, but what is the purpose of the Asian American Association or organization that has been set up, and maybe some of the things that you have done in our community, in the society so far?
Well, the more current situation the anti-hate crimes that have been going on throughout the United States has actually I believe, have bought the Asian American community and other people that have joined us at a recent rally to support having a voice, a positive voice, that we can work together, come together for the good of everyone that lives in our community. And as YESOE was saying, instead of doing something negative, remain positive. I mean, the more we communicate, or the more that other people see us and hear us, we have the same values. We're patriots. We're Americans. We all came to America for a better life. And instead of hurting each other, we should be supporting each other. And in some communities, neighbors would come out to support a neighbor that's been threatened or attacked. And that's what we need to do more of as Asians. Come together, show strength and unity, be open to all Americans, because the fact of the matter is we all immigrated to this country.
Absolutely. Again, what is the main purpose for the Asian American Association? What was it set up for?
Not only to share our culture, to show unity, to speak out against what's wrong. Okay. So those are main, and you know, so you have been in charge of special events. Apart from the yearly parade that we'll see in Chinatown, are there any other special events that the community embarks on, and what are the purposes of these? Like, I'm trying to see some of the projects that your organization or association have done in our society. Our primary, thank you for the opportunity. Our primary projects or events, of course, is the Chinese Lunar New Year. This is the year of the ox. It just happened in the latter part of February. Our next large event will be the Chinatown Summer Fair. And our events, we host these events, we sponsor these events to share our culture, our traditions with Chicagoans. Not just for the local people. We're right here. I mean, we eat Chinese food every day. I'm looking for a pizza tonight. But but the fact of the matter is, we believe in sharing our culture and traditions. What better way than to share that with people to come down to help celebrate Chinese New Year's or the Chinatown Summer Fair? We've got the big marathon coming through. And of course, it's our businesses love what we do. We're only volunteers, but bringing people down to spend time in our community. To have some Chinese food.
Excellent. If you're watching us,
we love Korean food. I love Filipino food.
We'll be
too.
we'd like to know that the differences in the cultures. But after 7 p.m., we would also have our guests respond to issues regarding Black Lives Matter and all of that. So stay tuned. Keep sharing the feed on Facebook and on YouTube. You're still watching the Progressive Mind Show. YESOE, right? Okay,
YESOE.
so YESOE.
I know my name is hard to pronounce, so I'm okay with that.
Okay, thank you. When you see this, when you have experienced personally some of these attacks, and you've heard from friends and community members who have shared their issues with you or their stories with you, does it come from all races, or there are some specific groups of people that are known for these types of, discriminatory acts and whatnot?
Yeah. So in regards to that, I can say that what happened was that exactly the root cause. We see, in the beginning, a couple months after the outbreak of COVID-19, I have witnessed that Asian American business owners were suffering a lot, and due to the hate crimes. And then the business were damaged after that, and the cops were unable to help some points. And some Korean business owners also complained to me, and they showed me their photos. They have bruises all over, and their business were destroyed. It was very sad in the beginning that I had to watch that. But the thing is that I realized this thing. Some people have a very, different mindset, and I would not say this to everybody, but a very few people, they generalize one race or community to be entire evil. That is wrong. And however, I do think that it is wrong. I think that it's wrong to generalize things like that, but at the same time, it is wise to ask responsibilities to those who caused it or did not take care of things right, For instance, I can say that, this type of race crime happened because of generalization and stuff like that. If I say to myself that, if I can make example, that one Korean person committed, murder, and then one person said all Koreans are murderers, that's wrong, Yeah. But at the same time, we can ask that person who committed murder to take full responsibilities of his or her own choices and actions.
Right.
And so that's what we have to do. We should not jump into conclusion or generalize things, but really focus on the problem and really focus on how to solve this.
Okay.
And then I really, in the beginning, I really support my community a lot, and I try to attend the participate events that related to that. But I had to resolve this because this is violence, and that we do not want. We have to end. But I think that we also have to pray for this incident because I think that God can help.
Yeah, God can help. Exactly. I believe that. We can pray. Christina, why do you think people do this? Why do you think that now, the Black Lives Matter or Black people in this country, the story is, it's obvious, right? Hate crimes, discriminatory behaviors, whatever, name it. I mean, that's not something we can, it's obvious. Now, with the Asian Americans, why do you think that people would pick on you or act in these type of ways towards your community? Can you respond to it?
Okay, the main thing I have to tell to everyone in here, hate is a virus. Stop Asian hate. Put love in your heart. Make united under one God, under one nation.
Great. Okay. Again, are you able to say why people did some of the things that you expressed earlier in terms of you being, treated in a negative way by other people? Why do you think people do that to Asians or Asian Americans?
Actually, that's part of the discrimination and racism.
Okay, that's just because they want to. Okay, from your opinion.
Yeah.
Okay.
From my opinion.
Got it.
I really want to stop this.
Okay. We would come to how we can stop this, what we can do to stop this. But YESOE, YESOE, right?
Perfect. Yeah, you got it.
You and Jean, would you want to respond to this? Do you probably have an idea why people do these things to you or to members of your community?
Jean, go ahead first.
Thank you, YESOE. It's been my experience, or in my thinking, a lot of some of this is inherent from their families.
Okay.
Some of their leaders. But generally speaking, you learn from your parents. You pick up things from your community. And if they have this hate or this virus, they grow up with it.
Mm.
Now, there are others that may be listening to politicians. When this pandemic started, it was simply COVID-19. And then someone added China, Wuhan, Kung Fu. What kind of a leader is that? But in his speaking, he is talking to people that are hearing him that already have this hate.
Right.
And as you say, with Black Lives Matter, this goes back many decades. I remember seeing a parade in Washington, D.C. of everyone in
Gene,
white garments.
Gene, hold on to one thought for a second. We have a caller on the line. Please, yes, please tell us your name and why you're calling. Caller.
I remember seeing a parade in Washington.
Hello, caller.
We can.
Hello.
Can you
Yeah, this is John.
yeah, can you turn down the device you are watching us on so we can hear you clearly, please? We're getting feedback.
Oh, this is John Omorere.
Okay, John.
I actually want to be part of this program.
Yeah, John.
Hello?
John, can you turn down the device you're watching us on so we're not getting feedback, please?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Absolutely, yes. Please go ahead.
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can, sir.
Yeah, actually, thank you so much for this program.
You're welcome.
Yeah, the thing is that when we don't have a good leader, when a leader is passing out information that can cause a lot of division and chaos, you know, like he was saying, Jin Lee was saying, I believe Chinese community, they just have to come together and be strong like never before. All they need is to support themselves. If they could be able to have a leader to strengthen them, then others will follow. Because racism is everywhere. It's in our house. But when we show love to ourselves, no matter what, we will stay strong. I believe in what Jin Lee is saying, that our leaders need to pass out information of love, not hate, not division. That is my contribution.
Thank you so much, John. We really appreciate you.
You're welcome, bro.
You're welcome. Thank you so much again. That was John sharing his thoughts, his opinion based on what we're talking about. I think he made a great point, basically tying to what Gene was saying earlier. Gene, we didn't mean to interrupt you, but please round up what the point you were making before the call came through.
The point is this: the more proactive we are, more willing, the more minorities, Asian Americans, the more we come together, the more we promote unity and justice, respecting each other, supporting each other, acknowledging each and everyone's right as Americans. We need to move forward in that direction.
Okay.
I mean, the current election demonstrated that with the number of voters that voted for change. And that's what we need to continue to have to move in the right direction.
Right. Yes, so I think I asked you the same question. Typically people would say, yeah, racism, when you talk about racism in America, is basically towards more towards Black people. You know, Black people are the receiving end of racism, and there are lots of reasons to it. You know, some will say Black people are aggressive, Black people are this and that. Now, when you use those same criteria as a yardstick or, you know, reasons for racism, the Asians from the outside do not look aggressive, or, you know, like, you may be aggressive, but you don't look it. I mean, sometimes your demeanor and the way you handle, and you just expressed it, that you always calm, you try not to escalate situations. And again, I'm not saying Black people are aggressive, but that is a perception out there, right? And that is the reason why that's the excuse that people use in perpetuating racism against Black people. Now, for Asians, since that is not necessarily the case, what do you think make people want to attack your community and attack you and behave the way they did towards you many years ago?
Well, I think that is differences. I think that when we see different people, I think that we have a tendency to have a prejudice towards that person, and also judge quickly wrongly about that person too. I think that that's wrong. Yeah. And also in regards to Gene's response, I think that he made a good point, but at the same time, I have a little different view. Okay. Because and I talk about this in the beginning, that that we also have to see two sides, not only one side. Okay. I know a lot of people don't like President Trump, and there's something I don't like about him too. And the way he talks, sometimes too blunt, and he could say nicely, but it's his style. And I think that some people have a different background, and they cannot sugarcoat, or they cannot say things roundly so that they cannot, you know, they should be more careful about other people's feeling and stuff like that. Right. But at the same time, that we also have to see who caused this, and also we have to take that person has to take responsibility. But it doesn't mean that all entire races are evil and stuff like that, right? Okay. So we have to focus on that. But at the same time, the media reports this really extremely. And I think that media also caused this to make hate towards President Trump, and people hate him, and they try to impeach him. They try to cause this more division, not unity. I think that is wrong too. I want to ask for responsibility towards, you know, medias as well. So I think that we have to look at both sides, and too extreme is not right, and we have to see through and conclude this rightly. And hating somebody and hating entire race is a wrong thing, but we have to come together what is best for Americans, best for American country, America country. We have to work on that. This bipartisan issue is not about the party at all. Okay. Well, that is YESOE's point. I don't know, anybody wants to respond to it. Christine, you were listening. Jean, you were listening. You have any response to that? Any comment?
Can I say something?
Please go ahead.
You know, the Asian culture, especially Filipino, our parents want us to be understanding and respectful to anybody, to always want us to focus and finish our career to be a better, successful person. That's the only thing I can tell. Okay, that's a great point. Jean, would you want to comment?
After YESOE is done, I feel that I've been roasted. She's absolutely right. There are two sides, and as far as elected officials are concerned, any elected official, your leadership or your record speaks for itself.
Right.
And granted, everyone does good things, positive things, or follows their platform. And there are maybe promises that are kept, promises that are not kept. But the bottom line in politics is, aside from the news, I think voters will vote based on results.
Okay, great. Thank you. We'll still would get the response or response to Black Lives Matter and Black people and all of that. But I want to know the differences in the culture. I mean, I have never been to the Asian continent. Firstly, YESOE, you're from South Korea, originally from South Korea. And then we have Christine from the Philippines and Jean from China. If we should have, who's going to win the food contest?
You know what? This is what I think. We will win all together.
Yes. Yes.
We'll win all together.
So if I were to taste Korean food, Filipino food, Chinese food, it's all a win-win for me. Is that what you say? Okay.
Yeah. All difference.
No difference. Christina, do you agree to that?
Yes.
Jean, is she right?
I tell you this, Christina. You know where you know where her husband is. He's in the kitchen.
But always cooking good foods.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the thing about Asian cuisine. I mean, we all have our favorites. I personally, I've been eating too much Chinese, so I'm looking for Korean, Filipino, for Malaysian, something else. Now, but when we talk about the restaurant business, it's not just the Asian restaurants that have been hit hard, that have suffered. It's all restaurants because of the pandemic. When folks are on lockdown or lose their jobs, these are all not good effects for the restaurant community.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is, we're hopefully turning the corner on this pandemic.
Right.
And that we're hoping that things will go back to normal. Mayor Lightfoot is encouraging events to get back out this summer. Yeah. And hopefully we can, depending on the numbers. And all we can do is hope, pray to God, get vaccinated. Actually, were we supposed to get the vaccinations in the arm or the butt? I
think arm, right?
They gave me mine in the butt.
Okay.
No, you told me the butt. Unreal. But anyway, work.
I think it's a beef you will pick up with them after this show. I am sure. No, so you are still watching the Progressive Mind Show. We're talking to YESOE Yoon, Asian American, originally from South Korea. Jean Lee is also here. Jean Lee is Asian American, born, raised in America. Background China. Christine NONATO is here also, and she has a background from Filipino, also Asian American. We're talking about the attacks on the Asian American community and basically trying to also know the culture and try to get their response as to how we can make as a society a safe one for all of us, making an even playground for everyone who seeks the American dream to be successful at it. So please feel free to share your comments, your opinions by calling. The number is on the right screen, right bottom corner of the screen. It's 815-277-5047. You can also share a comment, of course, on Facebook. You can share the Facebook page. And also, if you're on YouTube, please make sure you're helping to share that as well. Let's throw our support to our brothers and sisters in the Asian American community, because we are one people. We are all human race, and we all seek for one thing: safety, peace, wealth. Basically, basic goals, right? That's all we all look for. And we're excited. We are very happy for their patience and their acceptance to be on the show and to share these. But let's know. Thank you for sharing the issue. I mean, thank you for expressing your view when it comes to Asian food. But the culture, are they similar, or how different are the cultures? Yeah. Can you?
Yeah.
Yes.
So Asian cultures are diverse, and we have Chinese, Korean, Japanese, Thai, Vietnamese, Filipino, etc.
Okay.
We have different backgrounds and cultures, right? And our ancestor came from the lands were adjacent to each other. But it is very hard to define who we are as one, particularly, but it can definitely come together as salad bowl. Do you know salad bowl? It has a cucumber, it has a kale, So we're all different groups come together, but each group continues to maintain its own particular identity and celebrate own culture, foods, and tradition. So to be honest with you, I think it's important others to embrace each of us as who we are. And we are different, but we come together when we have to defend ourselves and solve things together for this country.
Right. It's very important. Thank you so much for sharing. Christina, and would you want to respond to this?
Yeah. I feel sad and sympathize all victims, but we cannot live in fear. Let justice take care of this accident.
Okay, great. Jean, you've been around for a long time. Do you think there are differences when it comes to the Asian community in terms of culture?
The obvious answer is yes.
Okay.
We all have our own culture. We all have our own traditions, but there are so many similarities.
Okay. Can you mention some of those similarities?
And to touch on some of those similarities, respect.
Okay.
Law abiding. We must pay our bills. We keep our family close. We try to encourage them not only to do well in school, but don't make trouble in school. But the reality is, all of our ethnicities, I mean, we have the good, we have the bad, and unfortunately, we have the ugly.
Yeah.
But still, I believe that we keep our values, and it's important to keep our values, whether it's believing in God, believing in family, supporting the country that we live in. I remember getting my draft notice. Was I happy about it? Not really, but I accepted my responsibility. If you're an American citizen, you fight for your country.
Right.
And fortunately, I spent my time in Thailand. I came back, but there's always that reality. Not everyone's going to love you. Not everyone's going to like you. But hopefully, as we communicate, get to know each other better, we can have a peaceful, United States of America.
What would you say? What is the reason for the tea drinking habit in the Asian community? Maybe just, I know this is a light one. This is just a light one, but
Alinko.
Yes.
I can tell you have a question that you may not wish to share in public, but tea, we love to drink our tea. Most Chinese that I know,
okay,
drink their tea straight. We don't add sugar, we don't add cream, but we'd add everything else. But someone asked me when I was at City Hall, Gene, why do you drink so much tea?
Right.
And before I could answer, he says, Gene, is it true that tea is like Viagra? I said, oh, absolutely not. Tea, people refer to it as having herbal substances that can help one's digestive system, help calm you down, stuff like that. It's more therapeutic than Viagra. There's no truth in that.
Okay. All right. Now,
have I answered your question?
You're right. You answered my question, but that was not my intent. No, but you did. It is so. Thank you so much. You said you add other things to the tea. Is that like what, ginseng and other herbal?
Well, there's ginseng tea. There's chrysanthemum tea that people add rock sugar to bring your system down. There's the regular oolong or the green tea that's very popular. Right. It's just a very popular drink for Chinese in China.
Right.
And matter of fact, the colonies can thank us for having the tea party because of our tea.
I'm sure they are sending the appreciation letter to you right now. Yes. So is that the same thing? Is tea very prevalent in the Korean community?
Yeah, we like a Chinese tea, but we also have our Korean tea. We have a green tea, and also we do have a corn. The corn. We actually fry it and we boil it.
Okay.
And it tastes really good. I mean, we grill the corn, and we actually make the tea out of it, and it's really healthy. I think the tea is somebody said that if you drink coffee once a day, you don't need a doctor, but I think the tea is like that, exactly the same.
Tea is the same.
Yeah. If you drink tea and if you meditate. Myself, I read a Bible, and I try to love other people. And even though I don't understand, I try to embrace them, and I try to pray for them as well. But I think that tea has actually a substance that heal mind and body. And if you read a Bible, I think that there will be really good combination on top of it. I think you'll be a loving person to all. Yes.
Christine, is that the same for the Philippines as well? Tea? Hot
tea? The Filipino also love tea. What we did to the tea, we have like the bulk of ginger. We chop the ginger. We boiled it. We put some turmeric. We put honey, lemon, and this is also help for the pandemic. Everyone can get healed with this kind of tea. Almost a lot of Asian loves to drink tea.
Yeah.
This is one of the medicine.
Yeah. Okay. So for the Asians, tea is more medicinal and spiritual than having breakfast, like food, like, basically. Wow. That's very interesting. Must it always be hot? Like, it seems like it's always hot because, of course, I mean, some people have chilled tea, they put ice in it and all of that. And, so we know that the Asians always make it hot, but I'm sure it's also based on the health benefits, right? That's why it has to be hot. Is that true, YESOE?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
okay.
Health benefits, okay. Definitely.
Yes.
Okay. One other culture thing. I mean, the Asian community has a lot of culture. So, some of them that stand out to me, which I want you guys to briefly touch on, is martial arts and the eating of your food with sticks.
Mm-hmm.
Why now? From just mere observation, it seemed easier to eat with a fork and spoon than two thin sticks, right?
Chopsticks.
Chopsticks. But I mean, people can eat, not just Asian, but a lot of people now can use the chopsticks. They eat rice with it, eat meat with it. What is the culture behind chopsticks?
Behind the chopsticks.
Yeah, like is it because maybe the stick is using a stick is a healthier option than using the silver? I mean, because spoon is made out of aluminum, right? So is there anything behind the chopsticks? If not, don't sweat it. I'm just curious. It's just something.
Let me make something up for you here. I've been using chopsticks all my life.
Okay.
And it's probably because we didn't have forks or spoons at the time. No, the Chinese, we do have spoons. But using the chopsticks is probably more sanitary or healthy to take with the stick instead of with your hands.
Right.
But it's like anything else.
Yeah.
With this pandemic, you have to have community chopsticks instead of individual chopsticks.
Right. Yeah.
And that's just for health reasons. Now, did you have another question?
Yeah. With martial arts, what is the main YESOE is martial arts is practiced in
Taekwondo, Korean.
Korean is Taekwondo, right? That's a major martial art. Okay. And then Philippines have what?
Have Hapkido.
Hapkido.
And also the armies.
Okay. Now, and then the Chinese have the Kung Fu and then Tai Chi, right? Tai Chi is from China too?
More of an exercise.
More of an exercise. Okay, so is martial arts an art that you need to know or you do need to learn for self-defense, or it's more of like a spiritual practice, but then when you know it is good for self-defense as well?
Self-defense.
So it's designed for self-defense.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Because we see people when they're meditating, they make these moves, like this martial art moves, and you will think that it's more spiritual movement than using it for using it in a fight or defensive mechanism, or using it as a defensive mechanism. So in Philippines, it's more for a defensive mechanism, right?
Yes.
Okay. Is it the same for South Koreans too? YESOE?
I believe that ancient time we used for a war, and it can be self-defense, but right now it's more self-defense because we have guns. We don't use martial art when we fight, right?
Right.
We have weapons,
Okay.
but this time is more self-defense. But at the time, ancient time, we didn't have weapons. At the time, was really ourselves was war weapons.
Exactly. Okay. Good. Gene, same thing, same concept.
Well, yes. In China, there are many forms of Kung Fu.
Okay.
There are monks that practice Kung Fu as a form of not only self-defense, but discipline. And that's carried over into martial arts of many forms today. Learning martial arts, of course, you defend yourself. And if you need to become a weapon to defend yourself, you do. It's not that every Asian that I know or every Chinese person that I know knows Kung Fu.
Okay.
I mean, it takes a lot of time to learn, but it's for discipline as well as self-defense. And in Chicago in today's time, more of my young guys, instead of learning Kung Fu, this is what they learn.
Gun.
So the younger ones are no longer learning Kung Fu. They're
not as patient.
Yeah. They're learning to do the pow, 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 pow. Well, on that note, we'd like to recognize our audience who have joined us. Some comments so far on Facebook. One from Arshia says, after attacks on Asian American elders, what's the best way to talk to your kids about racism against Asian Americans? Now, I would like to leave this response. I would like to leave this one for when we get to solution, how we can make our society better, right? Better. That way you can respond to this. But few folks who have joined us, MITT. I'm trying to figure out who MITT is, but we have Boateng, Ashia is watching us, James Charles Quasey, Prisla, EBD Thomas. Prisla, we haven't seen in a while. We miss you. Thanks for joining us. Meredith Hammer is also here, and Samuel Asa, Himno is also watching us. Thank you all for joining us. Please share the feed as we learn and as we all contribute to making our society a better one. We have the leaders of the Asian American community here in Chicago joining us and sharing their culture and also sharing their thoughts on what's going on, the recent attacks on the Asian American community. And then, hey, brother Ate Akron says we're here. Yes, brother Ate and his family are also watching us. Again, if you want to share your opinion or throw your support behind the Asian American community, the number is 815-277-5047. If you want to let them know that, hey, they are not alone in this fight and you're praying for them and wishing them well, please feel free to do so. And I think we have a call on the line. Let's take this call and then we shall go into Black Lives Matter. Caller, I know this is Brother Ate. Please go ahead and tell us why you're calling.
Yes, it's a very, very interesting conversation. A couple of things I wanted to say. I didn't come in from the beginning, so please excuse me if I'm making a mistake on something that you've already spoken on.
Okay.
I think I came in when YESOE, if I'm saying it correctly, she was talking about the political environment around the attacks on Asians, and I just wanted to comment on that and another thing. First thing I want to say is with the previous administration, it seems like of course, the accusation is white supremacy, but you notice that a lot of the things that the previous administration was doing was playing on the fears of white Americans towards other races, specifically when it comes to Mexicans, especially, and Latinos. The president was talking about rapists and murderers and drug dealers coming to the country, and this already plays into the fears of white Americans, especially when it also comes to Black people. We already know the narrative that's already there, but then also with the entrance of the COVID-19 virus over here, that's where I believe he also played into that. And when I was looking at the violence that sparked against Asian Americans, there was a direct correlation, I believe, with, of course, the COVID-19 virus, but then the way that he handled it. One of the things that he was referring to is the China virus. And of course, obviously, yes, it did come from China, but there are so many people who are so fearful of Asian people and already have a dislike towards Asian people that when you use such language, it evokes fear. And when you see people who are fearful, they tend to do things which are malicious towards the people that they're fearful of. We've seen this historically in America against Black people, against Hispanic people, even against Asian people back in the 1700s. They did all kinds of things because they're scared. So when politicians get up and then they play into the fears of people, it leads to these kind of things that we see.
Right.
And one of the solutions, I know you haven't gone to the solutions part, is exposure. I'm a Ghanaian man. I grew up in Ghana, and I didn't grow up near any Asian people. I also grew up in the United States of America, in Hyde Park. We did have a few Asian
for helping other people.
I didn't have too many relationships with them. And one of the things I noticed as I was growing up and looking at different things on TV is that, please correct me if I'm wrong, is that it seems like the Asians tend to be more isolative when it comes to befriending other cultures and other people. I think it's an immigrant mentality that we all have collectively, that we don't want to expose ourselves too much because we fear that people are going to take advantage of us or we're going to get in trouble. And I see this especially in Asian people. So I always believe that the way to quench your fears when it comes to another group of people is immersion. Get in contact with them, eat with them, play with them, have fun with them. I'm a nurse by trade, so I have tons of Filipino friends. My name is Akwete, but everyone calls me Ate. And that's my nickname from my country. But when I started nursing and I had a whole lot of Filipino coworkers, they'll say, oh, I can't call you Ate. I have to call you Kuya, which means big brother. But Ate means big sister. So it was a way for me to get into their culture. I sat down with them. I ate with them. So I have a lot of Filipino friends right now. And the fact that they're actually being attacked right now is actually very, very hurtful because I know a lot of Filipinos. I have a lot of Filipino friends. So as they hurt, I hurt. But I only feel their pain because now I've been exposed to them. I eat with them. I work with them. And I believe that's one of the biggest things that we need to do, especially as immigrants to this country collectively. Be more mindful of exposing ourselves to each other. We're so fearful that we'll be taken advantage of or we'll be hurt that we're always isolating ourselves. But the way to have people join together is to be together. If we're not together, it is impossible for us to join together. So I just want to see about how we can make strides to be around one another and to seriously to be friendly with one another, because as I said, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've seen from my experiences that a lot of Asians are way more isolated than other people and reluctant to integrate or to even expose themselves to other groups of people.
Wow. Great point, my brother. As always, we really appreciate you. And we hoping that you can join us next time. But if that will be it for your question, I will have my panel. Yes, great. Excellent. Please go ahead and respond to it. We'll start with YESOE. I know you have been listening attentively. You want to respond to the caller?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So he set up, people have fears. And I think that we do have fears. And it's a human tendency, natural tendency to have fear. But at the same time, who caused fear, right? We cannot generalize things here, okay? I think the media does a lot of part here to make people too afraid of more of virus and also more about hate towards presidents. I think that we really have to see intention. People think everything is good on surface, but everybody has different intentions. So media has good intention, some media, but at the same time, they have different intentions. They can trip this over for political gain, and it's tied down to one party or the other. And we have to see their intentions. We have to see the root cause, what their intention.
Okay.
And after we know the truth, we don't need to fear. People don't know the truth. They just believe what the media says, what one person said, one politician says. That's wrong. People really have to see the truth. They have to dig in. They have to research by themselves, read both newspaper, two sides, and conclude by themselves.
Okay.
Not by the media, not by one person.
So don't you think that in people concluding for themselves, their conclusion can be influenced by the things they hear from their leaders, especially their top leader? Don't you think so? Just individuals concluding for themselves.
Yes, but at the same time, they have to see this is a fact or not.
Okay.
They have to look into the data.
I see what you're saying.
Yes, and records, and they have to conclude from there. But if there's suspicion, they also have to dig into that too. We should not be too naive to believe what they're saying. Even media say.
Okay, so the responsibility should not only be. So you were saying, individuals, citizenry have to look into things and not just follow hearsay. If you hear something, do your research. It's your responsibility to sieve that information and get the positive out of it, right? So that is the individual responsibility, but we also have to give the responsibility to the person who's disseminating the information, right? So it goes both ways. We cannot just leave the responsibility on regular folks.
So I don't go by what sounds right. Well, what sounds nice. I know that sounds right and okay, but what sounds nice doesn't mean it's right. So we always have to look at the data and research it and dig in. In
your opinion, yes. So you don't think that people who hold power or have the ability to disseminate mass information, you don't think that we have to hold them to a certain level of integrity and responsibility by their information they come up with?
No, we cannot say that all like that. But I'm saying there are certain things they're saying the truth, but that sometimes it ties down to their own gain and also their own intention. So we have to look at that.
Okay, I understand. It makes sense. Okay, because somebody might be just making up things just because they want to make a point. Good. I think I see what you're saying.
Yeah, coronavirus was really big things to trip this over to make one party win, and this was mass. So I think that people don't know the truth. I think that people really have to dig in and see both sides.
Okay. All right. No, great point. Thank you so much. Caller, I think that would be it for your response. That would be the response for you this evening. Whether you were satisfied or not, you have to take it that way. He's my friend, so I can go like that with him. No, but would you want to comment or have a follow-up question?
Not really.
Okay.
I try to be responsible when I'm consuming news.
Right.
So I'm not somebody who's just exclusively watch CNN or exclusively watch Fox News. I try to be objective in what I hear. I consider myself an objective person.
Right.
But what I referenced in specifically was actually the words that came from the horse's mouth himself.
Exactly.
So, those things we definitely need to look at it. I believe that we do have a responsibility to find the truth, if indeed that's what we're looking for. But unfortunately, not everyone is looking for the truth. So
yes, exactly.
What do you like?
Right.
If you keep watching CNN, you will keep hating President Trump, even though he has a good, intention at some point, So I think that you have to be very objective and then research both sides.
Right. Okay.
Understandable.
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, my brother. YESOE won the battle today, but the war has not ended.
I want you guys to actually speak to the second part. I think that was actually more important. The second part of my question is the integration. As I said, I find that a lot of Asian communities, of course, that's the immigrant mentality, is to stick together and be
right
within the nation.
Mm-hmm.
And I said I think that's damaging at some point because it doesn't allow us to share ideas,
Mm-hmm.
share ourselves with other people.
Right.
And in so doing, we're not able to experience other cultures. So as I said, one of the reasons why I sympathize with Asian Americans is because I have a lot of Asian American friends. So as they heard, I heard. If I didn't know any Asians at all, I would just perceive it as their problem and not my problem.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the problems in America. Because groups are so isolated from one another, we don't share each other's pain. So we don't see each other's struggle. And when you don't share anything with another person, then sometimes if a situation comes about, you can be hostile very, very easily instead of embracing it.
Right. Right. Okay. No, great point. Yeah. Anyone wants to respond to that? Okay. I think Christina, Jean, YESOE wants to. He's basically talking about integration of our communities. I mean, do you all support the idea of us working together, different cultures? The Asian, because from his perspective, it doesn't look like the Asians, integrate a lot with other cultures, and so do we have to do more of that? Find ways of working together and sticking together. Is that something you all support? Okay. Okay. I think
Aliko, absolutely. The immersion, the rallies that bring people together, whether it's Black Lives Matter or the rally we had recently in regards to, violence against Asians. I think the more that people come together to learn about each other, irregardless of their color, the fact remains is we all immigrated, we all live in America. And unless we change that, become connected, more connected, it only serves us, for those of us that live here. So you're right about the Asian community that stayed within their own community, especially for immigrants that come over. They don't have the language down. They're more comfortable speaking their own language or mixing with their own. But the fact of the matter is, as time progresses, we need to reach out. We all need to become connected and learn more about each other.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, amen to that, right? Brother, are you satisfied now?
I'm very satisfied. Thank you very much, Gene.
Thank you so much. You are always a great support to the show, and your viewpoints and comments are always very uplifting and important, and an important ingredient. You are definitely helping build our community, as we all should. So thank you so much for your time, and we hoping to get you on here next week.
Okay.
All right.
problem.
Enjoy
Keep it
your
up, man.
evening.
Great job.
Thank you. So on that note, we want to look into other issues, other things here that we wanted to talk about. A conscious effort needs to be made to integrate. Thank you so much, Ashir. She is very big on this. She's a great leader when it comes to integration based off what she does and how she goes about it. Quick, because of time, I'll just take a brief response from actually a minute each. Your observation, your viewpoint on Black Lives Matter as an organization, and the objectives of Black Lives Matter. Yes, so I'll start from.
Yeah, I do believe that Black Lives Matter, of course, but so is American and Hispanic, white, and all Asian community. All lives matter. And when we do protest peacefully, that I support 100%. And they have a right to do this, you know. Okay. But at the same time, causing, you know, lootings and violence and behaviors, those are criminal. And we have to think about this. And at the same time, the violence cannot stand here. We have to end the violence. But when you do protest peacefully, I support 100%.
Okay.
There's no, you know, nobody's going to attack that. But when there's a violence, you have to pay for your action. But at the same time, I want to mention this one more time. When they use this political game, you know, make it generalize the political game, one race to the other, it make division. You know, we don't want that. We want to come together. Violence is wrong, and it's not. We're not going to generate this. Right. But at the same time, we are going to ask responsibility of those people who caused us.
Right. Okay. Great point, Gene.
I have to agree with that. Demonstrations should be peaceful. I can more than understand what the feelings of the members of Black Lives Matter, because this goes back so many decades. America needs a change. The change should be a peaceful change. But that's all easier said than done, because when you're talking about systemic issues that go back decades, I see change in many of our schools, in our families, when we talk about peaceful solutions, not hurting someone, being respectful, but teaching our young people and starting from there, and having adult leaders that come out and say, if it's wrong, it's wrong.
Right.
Try to do the right thing. And it's great that we're having this opportunity to share this on the show. Hopefully people will see that, you know, there are Asian Americans that speak English. And of course, there are Asian Americans that don't speak English yet. They're learning because they've just immigrated here. But whether here or there, we need to connect with our community, our neighboring communities. We need to lock arms, lock hands, hopefully just do the right thing.
Right.
And it shows like this, when you're talking about progressive minds, we need everyone in America, or hopefully a majority of Americans, to have progressive minds to do the right thing.
Right.
And live in peace. It's we've got enough other countries out there that are waiting for the opportunity to take down America for what we stand for.
Right.
Democracy.
Yeah.
We have to fight for that.
Thank you. No, great point. Christina, your turn.
Yeah. I support Black Lives Matter and All Lives Matter. And can I have something to say?
Yes,
In
please.
my experience during the pandemic,
There you go. I like to see you away from the. Yes, you're good like that. Yes, yes,
my
yes.
experience during the pandemic times, I was able to serve all the communities by offering free COVID tests everywhere. We go everywhere with my husband, NONATO. And we are not scared. We went to all different north, east, west, south to serve the community.
Right.
And we love doing that.
Right. Right. So thank you. You're basically expressing your love for humanity in general, and the fact that you just love to do good, and you have been trying to do that, and that's very beautiful to hear. We really appreciate you for expressing that. So thank you for your point, Gene, as well. Great point. I'm learning a lot, and on the Progressive Mind Show, this is what we do. We come here to learn. We come here to deliberate on things that are pertinent to us, so we can make our society a better one. And this beautiful ladies and gentlemen here, a former basketball star, Gene Lee, you have to know that he was a star in his heydays. I heard he used to play with Jordans and all of that. No, I just made that up. But want to thank you all for thank the audience who have rung in and contributed so far. It is 7:50 CST. You are still watching the Progressive Mind Show here in Chicago, the most beautiful city in the world. And if you come here, you have to go to Chinatown. Okay, the culture, the food, the smoothies. Oh my God, the smoothies! They have thousands of sorts of smoothies, the type of teas. I'm a tea person. I love tea, so I like to go there to get some teas and some ginsengs as well. Now, in 10 minutes, we'll be closing this evening's discussion. Please keep sharing it on Facebook and on YouTube as well. If you miss it, you can always go back to the Progressive Minds page on Facebook and watch it also on YouTube. Now, so the George Floyd situation case is currently ongoing nationally. I know a lot of people are following it. Sometimes word from the streets, rumors, grapevine rumors would inform you or will let you aware that when the situation was ongoing during the act, one of the police officers that was standing on looking is Asian American, or at least looks Asian American. And some people will say, yes, they are part of the trouble, right? He's an Asian American, and he was contributing to that being done to a black man. And so people would categorize Asian Americans as people who don't like black people. Now, for those who say that, what would be your response to them? For those who think like that and genuinely people feel that way. I'll start with Christina. I know you are not into that. So yeah, go ahead.
For me, just a small word. Stop hate. Spread the love and unity with everyone.
Okay.
So we're going to have peace in a whole world.
Okay.
That's the only thing I want to say.
To that. Okay. So would you want to address people who think like that?
Yes. We don't have any room for hate and violence in this country. We have to come as a unity, whether it's Democrat or Republican or a Green Party. I think that we have to come as unity. We are patriotic and we are all Americans. We are here to solve problem as American. What's best for America, this country.
Okay. Gene, you wanted to respond to this quickly.
I believe that he was a police officer. He was on duty.
Yeah.
He took an oath and he did nothing. He was a bystander. And a life was taken that day. Irregardless of what his past, what his record, the man was on the ground. He was in cuffs, but the knee on his neck and the other officers that could have stepped in and and tell the officer, hey, take that knee off the neck. He could have done something, and he didn't.
Basically, from what I got from you, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that deal with a man individually based off his action, and let him deal with the responsibility of his action. But do not generalize a man based off his action and the race to an entire community.
Exactly.
Yes.
Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you.
That is powerful. And so I think that we have discussed this topic of attacks on Asian Americans in our best way. And so you can continue the conversation at home. Now, we have already touched on some of the what you call solutions. And let's go back to Ashir's point, that the question that she asked, and I wanted you to respond to. Great point about immigrants, communities isolating themselves. I think that is not a question. Here is a question. Let me get it. After attacks on Asian Americans, Asian American elders, was the best way to talk to your kids about racism in Asian Americans? Now, I think this is a very, very powerful question. So I'll start with Christina NONATO again. Can you, your quick response to this?
Okay, for this situation.
In terms of, and related to the solution, okay? Solution.
For solution, yes.
Yeah.
My parents already, taught us to be respectful and, to love all the communities, to spread love, no more hate. And we are just in one nation.
Okay, thank you. YESOE, you want to respond to that question specifically in the context of solution?
Yes, it's very important to raise our children to think critically. Right now, many kids are brainwashed by TV, media, and other sources, and also teachers. And I believe that some of the textbooks are influenced by politics as well. So I think that let them think critically, and also we have to give them truth, the facts, and what is happening in this country. And we have to let them know how to think deeply and critically, so that in the future, when it comes like this again, they can think correctly and make right decision from there. So they don't need to be deceived, really, by media or other sources, because other people always have intentions, different intentions. So we have to let them know that it's what is pro and cons and what is right there, and let them think critically, and so that our future generation is going to be bright because they know how to think critically.
Right. Thank you so much. Jean, I don't know if you want to respond to this.
I agree with both the ladies. As parents, our families, we have to teach right from wrong, have to see right from wrong. And when you talk about critical thinking, that goes back to our values, our traditions, our culture. And our children need to be strong enough to be able to react accordingly, to see through the bullshit, as they say. And when you talk to your kids, they're not going to understand everything from the right information. You give them the truth, they can react to what you give them.
Right. Well, thank you for that powerful response, Jean. And one thing I've also noticed about the yes, man. My response to that is yes, man. Now, one thing I have noticed about the Asian culture is the attitude of respect and politeness. Is this like a norm, like an inherent culture that needs to be passed on, to be taught, or is just a necessity, just so people can, just so you can do well when you go out there? How important is respect and politeness within the Asian culture for you guys? How important is that, and where does that come from?
It comes from our culture. It comes from our traditions. Being respectful, minding your elders,
Mm.
being well-mannered,
Mm.
being cordial. A simple thing like thank you, good morning, how are you? These are basic things that we should all have. I know our parents try to impart that on us. It takes with most of the kids. And when young people don't have that, you can see right away that they're lacking the parental support, sharing our culture. I mean, it's like when we're eating. I mean, I would love to eat first, but we're taught to let our elders eat first. Basic things like that. It's
Why is that?
There's so much of it.
Yeah, but why is that important, Gene? I know time is up, but why is that important? Why is maybe YESOE, if you want to stem come in as well?
Yeah.
The things you mentioned, right, Gene? Basic things. Why are they so critical for the Asian community? And if you want to extend it to the let's base it on the Asian community. Why is it so critical and important for you guys?
Yes, I think that it's came from our origin, which is Buddhism, and I think that it has a karma, and it's what they're saying in the history, that if you do good to elders, seniors, and if you treat them right, it will come to you. The blessing will come to you. It's based on the history and origin, and it was that at the time it was their religion, and it passed down to generation to generation.
Wow. Okay. If you treat others well, so in essence, if you say thank you to someone, if you say please to someone, if you just try to be polite and humble to others, well, you'll get treated the same way. Is that the essence, Gene? Am I getting the concept right?
No, you're very on point with that. I recall my elders telling me, Gene, sometimes isn't that what you get? The more you give, you get in return. And some Americans would say it's like paying it forward. But when you show that you're humble, respectful, you have manners, it shows that you care for people.
Wow.
That you're up the right way.
Right.
Oh man, this Chinese guy, he's not just American born, but he retains many of his learnings, his traditions, and he's not ignorant.
Yeah.
But, like that.
Wow. Thank you so much. We have to come to the end of the discussion this evening, but the closer we are to this show, the more I'm getting pumped and energized and loving it and learning. And so someone says, okay, I have to put this comment up. Someone says, I really like that Gene guy. Respect, my man. So we definitely hey, did you see that? Can we see that again, Gene? There you go. And then Rebecca says that yes, that is true. When you do good things to others, it comes back. Your last words, and please give us your again your opinion on how we can make our society better in the context of these things, these values that you have shared: respect, thank you, all these manners, right? How important are these ingredients in our society today, and how can it make us better, right? So put all that in context for us. And I want to start with, well, I don't know who to start with. Somebody has to volunteer. Who's going to volunteer? Okay.
I'll do.
All right, yes, go.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Can I go first?
Yes, please.
Okay. Yeah. It is really important to understand others and think from others' point of view. Being better or doing better mean we are making improvement in our lives, and that come from self-reflection daily to make us better persons. It is also important not to judge others quickly as I mentioned earlier. And as a Bible believer, we can have love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And of course, we can come to the problem and solve it as one Asian American in this case, not by political agenda or gain, because we want unity, not the division.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Christina, and then of course you're running for office, so
Yes.
go ahead and plug that in as well.
Okay, can I say something?
Please.
Okay, first, I want to spread for everyone. For God, we love it. We want everyone in unity, peace. We put love in our heart. And my name is Christina NONATO. I'm running for Metropolitan Water Reclamation on March 2022 as Commissioner. Don't forget, Christina NONATO as Commissioner 2022. Thank you and God bless you all.
Thank you so much for sharing such a powerful closing remarks. Gene, the man of the night.
You're way too kind. But the fact of the matter is, we live in America. Should be the United States of America. We all immigrated here. We all need to unite for a better country. It's this unity that'll make America to continue to be a democracy. Good for everybody. Thank you.
Good for everybody. I want to also give you the chance to tell us about the image behind you. We spoke about it before the show. There you go. There you go. Yes. What's all that about?
Yes, I'm a White Sox fan, but more of a message to the Asian American community. We need to change the game, our game. We cannot be the silent. We have to become connected with everyone else in our country, in our city, in our community. And that's all lives matter.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now, Rebecca says, I am proud of you all. Great information. And this is from Pakwesi Sam, the president of the Ghanaian community here in Chicago, GNC. He says, great show, Alinko. Presido, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you for your support and your comment. And we have another comment. No, that's we've already seen that. Very thoughtful discussion. Great job, Senna and the panelists. From Ashir. This is from Portia. Hey, Portia, you know what? I thought of you today. Dr. Portia, we need to have a meeting ASAP. I'll be calling you after the show. Dr. Portia says, hello, Alinko and Progressive Mind Show. Excuse me. Enjoy the show. Very good and very essential. Thank you for sharing. This is from Johnny Woods. He says, we are in solidarity with you. Thank you so much, Johnny Woods. Well, this will not be the first and the last of hosting great people as you're seeing on the show. We are looking forward to. This is from Ray. Ray says, "Great show and very helpful and informative." Ray, I am still taking you on that lunch. Okay, so
yes,
yeah, okay, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I missed it the other time, but it's going to happen. Like I said, this is not going to be the first nor the last. We're definitely going to be engaging you again. There are so many things we can be talking about to make our society a great one. You have been watching the Progressive Mind Show, the Wednesday edition, 6 to 8. We are always here to serve you. On Sunday, we started a new one we called it the Finding the Balance from 2 to 4 CST, 2 to 4 p.m. We are here talking about issues that are relating to us as well. And so please make sure you are taking note of that. Follow us on Facebook, of course, Progressive Minds, on YouTube, The Progressive Mind Show. We are also on Twitter and on Instagram. To God be the glory. Remember, to whom much is given, much is required. I have been blessed this evening by the presence of YESOE, Yoon, Jean Lee, Christina NONATO, and we have discussed Asian Americans, the recent attacks on them. We hope that we have been able to do justice to the topic per your judgment. And so please keep blessing us and keep supporting us. Keep sharing the feed. God bless you. We shall be here next week. Again, guys, enjoy your evening. YESOE and Jean, have a wonderful evening.
Thank
Christy.
you.
Have a good night, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.